All right, I'd like to call to order the September 14th, 2023 general meeting of the Monona Community Media Committee. Will, do you have the roll? You've got
Yes, currently we're only missing Bill Graff.
fantastic, and he may join us later. And then is there a motion to begin the approval process for the minutes of our last meeting, August 16th?
I'll move approval of the minutes as presented.
Minutes presented. My mistake, that was August 10th, just a minor technicality. Is there a second?
Second.
Are there any changes, any amendments to the minutes, any updates?
I have a quick correction.
Yep.
On the EL numbers that I said that we were encountering all these new students, and we are, but it's 40 students over 2 years, not 40 students in the last year. So that's a big difference.
Over the past 2 years?
Yep. So we had 80 in 21-22, and on August 11th, the day after the meeting, I went and had my numbers checked and we were at 127. So we still have the highest percentage or highest concentration at Winnequa, but 47 across the district over the last 2 years.
40 new families. So when you say 80 and 127, do you mean that in total we had 80 new students in 2022 and now we have 127 students that are in the ELL population, total of 127? Wow.
Yes. So 80 total students designated as EL in 21-22. And that might not necessarily be 80 families, right? That could be multiple students in a single family. But then yes, 127 students in EL for 23-24 as of mid-August. Yeah.
Thank you for that correction. Are there any other corrections that we should make on the minutes? Hearing none, do I have a all in favor of approving the minutes as corrected by Katie?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone else? Okay, fantastic. Thank you, Katie. All right, so then are there any appearances tonight? I don't see any. No. All right, let's get on to ongoing business. We just, I know that Anita, as usual, sent out her very lovely request for newsletter submissions. Anita, how's that coming along for you?
I have deadlines tomorrow, so I have a few so far. They usually come in at the last minute.
You in need of any more?
So we'll see what comes in.
I know that something will be coming in from our new city administrator. I'll be submitting something from the sustainability. And I think that Neil will be submitting something from DEIB. What have you gotten so far?
A couple of things from Thor.
Okay. In general, is there anything about the process that is causing you extra work or any unnecessary stress? I mean, getting things at the last minute, is that something that you feel we should work to change?
That's just how it always goes with deadlines. So it's fine.
Okay. Okay. Fantastic. All right. And then feedback
Teresa, can I just add one of the things, Anita, and you may already have this information, but the event at San Damiano last Friday night was amazing. And I don't know if there's, I mean, I'm sure Andy would give you information. We probably have to ask for it, right?
I agree. That was an amazing event. That was wonderful.
It was really beautiful.
Yeah. So I guess the point there is if more information is needed, then Susan, you'd just recommend that Anita reaches out to Andy directly. Is that what I'm hearing? Okay. All right.
I can, when you guys send it over, I'll add the video that was played at least. And maybe if Andy has something to add, I could put it in there if it makes sense. Otherwise, it can be a separate thing.
Oh, that's great. I had forgotten. And of course, Will was there, so he can tell you all about that.
Will, were you, yeah, that video was very well done. Will, were you thinking of including the video in the newsletter? Is
Yeah,
that what
just a link to the YouTube. Yeah, just an embed in there for the YouTube video like we've done in the past. I don't know,
That
can't
would
remember
be
what
a
else it was.
great idea.
Yeah, I'd like to know how much money they raised, quite frankly.
I think that's a fantastic idea. It's important that community members understand that fundraising is actively happening. Fundraising that will lessen all of our financial burden. And that's I love the idea of linking to the video on YouTube. Very nice, very nice. Will, do you have an idea of how many attended the event?
I mean, what do you guys think? There was probably 20 tables of about 8 people a table, and maybe
They were supposed to be
maybe
about
that
8
many.
to 10 people per table, but there were a few empty chairs sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
100, 150 between there.
Yeah, it was nice. It was nice. Okay, fantastic. Is there anything more to say about newsletter submissions? If not, I'm just going to go on to item number 5B, feedback about the new bilingual program on VMO code called Conectados. And all I'm asking for is just general feedback. If anyone has listened to the program or what you've heard about it, if there's anything you'd like to share about that. I appreciate the promotion that's been happening, and the ability to watch that on Monona Go is always really nice. Why don't I move on then to item number 5C, and it's an update on any promotion about the Monona Go app. Will had shared some really encouraging statistics about the number of downloads on iOS branded apps. We're up to 391 downloads. It's fabulous to hear. And on the Android, 67, which that's kind of funny. Good news. Does anyone feel like any surprise at those numbers, or do you feel like that's about right? I mean, for a community of our size, almost 400 downloads on, I mean,
I was surprised by that. I mean,
yeah,
truthfully, I didn't think there'd be that many
Yeah.
downloads on
450 downloads.
The newsletter subscription, I think the last time we looked was like between 800 and 900. So that's, we've got about half.
Well,
I
the
mean,
other
that's-
thing is, what about, do you give us numbers about people connecting? Is that what you mean when you say download? Because it was, I was thinking it was one of our, I don't think it was Bill, it was one of our new members that was at the Schluter Beach beer garden, and he had the t-shirt.
Oh, Dave. Oh,
Yes.
Yeah,
So
Dave. Yeah.
funny.
So that was absolutely amazing. So we'd walk up
Brilliant.
to you, or you'd put your phone up there and it would download it.
So for those who don't know this, it is the funniest darn thing. Is Dave here tonight? Dave, can you
Oh, there he
explain
is.
a
He's
little
on
bit
the phone.
about this t-shirt that you created? Oh, is there any way that you could speak up a bit? We're having trouble hearing you. Very poorly. You know, Dave, if you do have the chance to take a selfie of this t-shirt, I would love to see it. So basically Dave created a t-shirt.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, thank you.
So 279 downloads were from my t-shirt of the 367. No, I think I really got like 9 downloads for my t-shirt, but
And that's still pretty solid.
279, you know, what's the difference? Yeah. So Dave, can you explain a little bit about the t-shirt and what it looks like?
well, it just has the logo that we were using in the newsletter with the phone, and then I just put the QR code for iPhone and Android on it so people could scan it, and I walked around a few events with it on.
And
That's about it.
there's a hi, my name is name tag like incorporated right, it's printed right on the t-shirt, right, with your name
Yeah.
on it.
So
Yeah.
it was just something I thought of before the 4th of July festival. Thought it might be a good way to get it out. Get
And
the word out.
and people are walking right up to you with their phone and scanning the QR code off of your t-shirt. It's the
Yes.
best. It's so funny. Oh my gosh, it's just fantastic. So yeah, nicely done. Nicely done. So that really fits right into this topic about, you know, other sorts of promotion of the Monona Go app. We talked about running something in the PTO newsletter. I wondered, Will, do you know whether that was able to happen? I know that Shalene said that she would take care of it. I'm not sure.
You know, I don't know. I
Okay.
didn't follow up with her on that, and I'm not too sure if she did or not.
Okay.
I don't think
So
there
I'll
has
put-
been a PTO newsletter yet, just because my
Okay.
kids are at school too. I'm pretty sure their PTO is sort of refocusing right now, and so that might be that they just didn't quite have a newsletter to put together on for September, but maybe for October.
Okay. But in any case, we'll maybe just a follow-up with Katie would be, or follow up with Shalene on that. And then I'm wondering, were there any advertisements in the programs for sporting events or concerts? Have there even been any concerts yet at the high school or at any of the schools?
Not yet.
It's too soon. It's too soon in the school year.
Yeah, it is on our. We have it as a permanent spot on the school board page, since that's primarily district, what district people would look for. Of course, at the high school, it would make sense for sports and athletics. We can, and maybe I can talk with the athletics director, athletics and activities, and see if there's a spot for it on their webpage. But it is permanent. It does have a permanent spot on our website too, just to get people there as an alternative.
And you're referring, when you talk about that permanent spot, are you referring to the district web page or the school board
There's a,
page?
yeah, it's all the same.
Okay.
So we have a single site, and then each school has a microsite within the district website, and the school board is part of the overall district, but it's not a microsite.
Fantastic. And then what about, have there been any parent newsletters that have gone out that we might put an ad there?
There has been one. We did put them in the spring. I think it was sometime in the spring when it first came out, when the app first came out, we did have it in the family newsletters. And I think I will double check. We have a digital flyers page, and I think it's also just a standing item on the digital flyers page where people can go and look to see what activities are happening, Fall Fest or whatever. Let me check that now and get back to you. And if it's not on there now, we can have a permanent home for it there too.
Okay. And then there was also an idea that it would go out in the Friday folders that the elementary school kiddos take home. Will, I'm guessing you may not have heard from Shalene on that, but
So I actually followed up with Will on that after I watched the rest of that happened after that conversation happened after I
Okay.
had to leave last time, and followed up with Will after watching. We don't do Friday folders for outside groups anymore. That's what that digital flyers page is.
Got it.
So it just became kind of a burden for staff because we had so many people wanting to send stuff home with kids. So every once in a while PTO will send something out, but if it's not specifically for the school, we tend to not send it out in Friday folders, but we do have it on that digital flyers page.
Got it. That makes sense. Those were the only strategies that I had in terms of what, avenues we were going to pursue for further marketing of the app. And we did have a little conversation about buttons, just like the same, like those 2-inch buttons. I don't know if this group wants to pursue that, but in the absence of a huge budget that would allow us all to have t-shirts as beautiful as Dave's t-shirt, I think it was $50 that he spent on that t-shirt. And I don't know if I'm willing to go that far, but I'd be happy to have a button with a QR code that people could just walk up and scan the button. If that's something we want to think about down the road. But so far, this is wonderful. Do we have a goal that we'd like to hit? So 450. Do we want more? Are we satisfied with that? I mean, what would be a reasonable goal? I'm not sure.
I think at this point, 500 with them combined, because I think we're at 450 right now if you combine them together, right?
Yeah. We're at about 450-ish, yeah, a little over 450. So try to hit 500.
I think that'd be safe. We probably hit somewhat critical mass as far as the people who are early adopters and are going to download it right away.
It is nice as we're moving into budget season to be able to present that nice big number. Yeah, let's try to hit 500. All right, sweet. And then when we do, we can even use that as a promotional tool. You know what I'm saying? Just the news that we've hit 500 is news in and of itself, and it'll be further promotion. And then before I forget to write it down, Amanda, can you tell me again what the subscription numbers are on the newsletter?
I think it's somewhere in 800 and 900. If you give me a second, I can look it up quick. Yeah.
Fantastic. Nothing but good feedback about that. All right. While Amanda is looking that up, are we ready to move on to new business and talk about the operational budget, or is there anything more that folks would like to add? All right. In that case, let's go on to number 6 of the budget, new business, operational budget discussion and approval. So Will, can I ask you to take over from?
Yep, for sure. So the first document in the packet. Okay, I want to make sure I wasn't muted. The first document in the packet is the narrative, is what the city calls it. And we send in a narrative of what our challenges are, opportunities, our long-term goals, right? And what gives an overview of what maybe some changes are in this year's budget. So you can see at the bottom, significant program cost and personnel changes. And this is the department program budget account, where it has the mission of the department. It's in a Word doc. So the bottom of that page, significant program cost and personnel changes. I'm proposing an increase to the part-time programming and volunteers coordinator position, which is Joe Martin, from $15 to $18.50. He more than deserves it, and a position like that is certainly more than a $15 an hour pay. So I'm confident not only with the money that I got this year from the Tourism Commission and what I plan to get next year, that we probably can cover it. So that is something I've talked to the mayor about. She's well aware of the increase. And in fact, I've already put in a request to increase a couple months ago. So it's just kind of, I guess, getting shuffling papers on it, if you will, or whatever. But I think obviously people are supportive. Everyone's just a little nervous about money right now. So I'm confident that, you know, I propose it, but then I am confident we can also cover that cost without even affecting, putting more money on the levy, which if you once we look at the budget numbers, it really comes in, you know, about 5,000 more. So it's not a significant increase in terms of the city budget. But I'm not going to walk through all the goals and progress proposed unless people think I should. That's self-explanatory. If people have questions, maybe when we're done, we can talk about it. I put the basic 2023 goals accomplished on there. I'm sure there's a lot of other smaller ones. These are kind of the bigger ticket ones, which I think the council appreciates. Because it lays out better, I think I'd rather go ahead.
Katie has a question, Will.
Okay.
I just have a question on that travel money. What did you say? Tourism money? Is that
Yes.
exclusively for the department? Who gets to use, who has access to that money?
Yes.
Is it just like it's specifically for your department?
Yep. So this last year, because the Monona Eastside Business Alliance, Christine Welker was brand new. She came in, and however it happened, whatever happened, there was a lot of media assets they had that they no longer had.
Yeah.
She was like, there's no, where like the pictures are gone. There's like all these files that are gone, yada, yada. And I'm like, well, you know, that's great. We can certainly help you. And we talked about it. And she goes, you know, this fits right under the tourism portion of it. You propose what you think it's going to cost to get me these assets, and I'll put that in our tourism grant that we're looking for. So it was kind of a joint thing in that, yes, we did some extra work, but it was all summer work, which worked out. Like when our workload was down a little bit, it was a perfect time to do some of those things. And it was, you know, $4,700. So that if we can do that again next year, that basically covers Joe's increase, or that
Yeah.
position's increase, excuse me. So, I'm confident we can. And I, in talking with people, pretty much got the impression that I could get more if we have some more discussions about it and talk about what other things make sense for this department. I'm in a parking lot, excuse me. Hear kids yelling.
Was there anything else you wanted to point out in terms of like the highlights of the budget, Will?
Yeah, so I was gonna say if we could scroll down, I think looking at, we'll start with television, but looking at more of the spreadsheet might be a little more conducive, because the way it's laid out in the whole narrative is a little convoluted of trying to scroll around. I'm happy to do either, but if you look at, you can also, it's a little easier and quicker to compare 2023 and 2024. You'll see that there isn't much of an increase in the, I guess we can start with radio. There isn't much of an increase at all other than wages for what I'm proposing in an operational sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then if we scroll to television, you'll see the increase again is in wages. And the only under real increase you'll see is under, well, health insurance, but there's nothing we can do about that, right?
Right.
Studio maintenance. So here's where I pack in a lot of things we need. This studio maintenance is all of our Adobe subscriptions, as well as, I forget what other subscription. I can pull out my document of where to get these numbers, but essentially it's subscriptions and ongoing expenses for our video operations. And what is added in then this year under the studio maintenance that has increased 2,500 is the cloud service that we need for the Monona Go app. So really, the operating budget has increased by about 7,500, 7,000 roughly, due to an increase in pay for one position and the cloud service. And I will work to pull up that document to show the expenses if we want to.
And will, if I'm correct, my understanding, if we did not pay for the cloud service, well, why don't you just explain, what would we not be able to do if we
Yes,
did not have that $2,500 increase?
right, thanks. Should explain that. So that cloud service really just provides the area on the mysterious cloud that we need for the Monona Go app videos to play on the app, and for the app to work. It also gives a page on our website, a live video feed. So I could share my screen. Let me get to the right spot so that I can do it all in one take instead of fumbling around. But essentially, we lose the Monona Go app if we don't pay this, which we've already done a lot of work to keep. I would just passed on a document, a news article I read today, that said cable subscriptions are now less than 50% of TV viewers. It's now 49.6%. And the rest of TV viewers are using, right, Roku, Apple TV, all these other things. And they're not cable subscribers. Only 49.6% are cable subscribers. So it's not just a look at what we're lucky to be able to do in a sense. It's if we don't do this, we're losing out on 50% of the people. We're losing out on keeping up with the trends and the way people are communicating and getting their information.
Katie, could you go ahead with your question?
Yeah, well, and maybe you're going to get to this sort of along the same lines. I just wondered about the to-date franchise fees. And maybe you'll be talking about the revenue in a minute too, but so if that's the case, I'll let you say your report first and then ask questions. Otherwise, I just have a question about that.
Yeah. The franchise fees have not really taken much of a hit, as you can see from the document. The projected revenue for franchise fees is roughly, it's up a little teensy bit. And the the state aid is right on target because that gets updated every year based on based on like the previous year or the 2 years before of what we got in revenue for cable. So the state aid might start going down a little bit, but right now it's staying stable because the franchise fees are staying stable. Okay. And then the general property taxes, which Mark put that we're going to need, it looks like 12,000 more, and that's probably for wage increases as well. He probably factored that in as the wage increases.
So I guess my question then, if you don't mind, is the franchise fees to date through June 30th are only 23, and the year-end estimate is 96. And it looks like, I mean, obviously we took a hit in 2021, but they've been steady, I guess, from there. And is that typical that those franchise fees don't come in until much later in the year?
Yes, because they suck at sending them in. They have
they're just behind.
40, they have 45 days after the quarter to send it in, and they
take every day.
Do send it in on the 45th day every single time. Okay,
good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely would appear that we're not on track to meet that goal.
Right.
Yeah.
Because we literally probably only have January, February, March, April, May, June. So we may not have
that might be just through March.
Yeah, it
Like,
may
that
be
might be
just through
just for
March,
shorter. Yeah. okay.
based on when he put this together. They hadn't
Yeah.
come in yet.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
I mean, it most definitely is. But thanks, because I didn't check with him on that. I just kind of figured it and went, yeah. But you're right, I will check with him. Though I did see, even though it's the smallest income, the AT&T cable subscription is staying pretty even. That one just came in a few weeks ago. And then one other update, total sidebar, but I think it's just another great feature of this relationship between the school and the city. I reached out to Dan Olson, the superintendent, and Mark Powell, who's the business manager of the school district. Based on my discussions with the mayor, she wanted me to reach out to them about our capital budget expense, which was that streaming infrastructure, which was 14,500. And she wanted me to reach out and have a talk with him and say, look, we both use this just as much, if not, more than one than the other during certain periods of the season. What can we go half and half in this one, as opposed to just the regular agreement that is on the table? And, without flinching, he said, absolutely. So now, instead of that capital budget being 14,500 for the city, it just quickly went down to 7,250. So that was great. And that, the money to me isn't even the big thing. It's how quickly everybody's like, yep, we support it. We're in it. And so that was really nice to see. So I know it's a different budget and not the same bucket of money, but I just wanted to make sure everybody was aware of what happened there. And Teresa, my apologies, probably the first time you heard that, because I totally wasn't thinking about it until we were talking about it.
No, don't worry. Will and I basically, what Will's referring to is I always like to have a little quick pre-meeting with all of for any committee that I chair. I like to have a little pre-meeting with the city leader on that committee, just so, we have so that we're aligned before meetings, just to make the meetings go faster for everyone here. No worries, Will. It's fine. Anything else that stands out on the budget?
What did I do to my camera?
Yeah. I was wondering.
Oh, here I thought I was cleaning it and I really screwed it up. All right.
Anything else that stands out on the budget that people are just kind of curious about? Something you're seeing, something that just not sure about? Yeah. Does that mean we're ready to take a vote to approve and send this onward?
Oh, you know what? The sun moved on me. That's what screwed me up. Hello, everyone.
Walk toward the light, Will. Come toward.
Don't go into the light. Okay.
I would be happy to move approval of the operating budget as presented.
Is there a second?
I second.
Second from Dave. All in favor of approving the operating budget as presented? Say aye.
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 Motion passes. Fabulous.
Thank you.
Write down who
Appreciate it.
seconded. All right. Fantastic. Will, I only had a little leftover thing at the end. 37 minutes in, you guys. How am I doing on keeping my promise? I only had a little extra thing, but it was kind of already covered. I wondered if maybe you wanted to give a little report out in terms of the work that community media did for the San Damiano event. I know Susan sort of started us into that conversation. It's a huge event. Anything that you'd like to share, or any other staff updates that you wanted to share?
Yeah, I mean, I think the San Damiano was a great event for the Friends of San Damiano, but also a good event for community media because we were there. We produced the video that kind of transitioned the night into "Please give us money," and so we took part in that kind of shift in the event. And then I was there, doing the geeky tech thing, audio and video and setting stuff up and miking people up and that whole thing. So having a presence at a VIP event is always nice, selfishly for the department so that they see you working, and it's always a good thing to see. Um,
I'll also add that at the San Damiano event, one of our community media members, Bill Graff, he was the voice of the video that was presented. He did a fantastic job voicing it over, and it really turned out nice. Really great.
Yeah. Thanks for mentioning that, because I should definitely mention that I did not do the whole video. Bill wrote the script and did
Oh,
all
he
the
did.
he wrote the script and did all the research on, what the real facts were, and found a lot of the photos that were used. Worked with Pat Howell to get all these photos approved by the Wisconsin Historical Society so that we could use them. And then, like I said, he also wrote the script. So he absolutely was more of the producer of the video, and script writer, producer, and Pat Howell was maybe more the executive producer. And I just used my skills of editing and storytelling to put all of their hard work together. So it certainly was a team effort by the three of us, for sure. And if you don't know Pat Howell, she's not on this committee. She's on Parks and she's on the Friends, I believe. But she is a workhorse and an amazing person, really. Just a very nice person who is dedicated beyond.
Former teacher.
Yep, former teacher. And
Yeah.
Ryan Stadola's mother-in-law.
That's right. That's right. Another thing, I know she's not here, but anyone that knows Pat, it's not a surprise when I say that she does all of that with
Yes.
the most she's such a gracious, graceful, enjoyable, sweet, kind person. It's just such a pleasure to always work with her.
She hates it, but Nancy Moore calls her Saint Pat.
I didn't realize that Bill wrote the script. It was well done. And when you see it, for those that haven't yet, Bill and I were joking about Will's editing, and Bill said that a couple people were laughing that perhaps the most powerful part of the video was the dramatic pause that Will inserted after the point when Bill Graff was explaining that the Norbertines had planned to destroy the house, and then you inserted this. It was very well done. It was very touching. I remember there being
it was
a
the
moment
part where you have to
silence.
shift. Yes, it was the
was
part
nice.
where you had to
nice.
yeah, you had to shift to
good.
uplifting, but so yeah, you had to pause a little bit there.
Yeah, that was well done. Anyway, really great event. It'll be really interesting to hear about the income it generated. It was really well done.
So I labeled it San Damiano Monona, or Monona San Damiano History in the Making. It's on YouTube if anybody cares to watch it. It's a Bill did a good job of having some fun facts, and really it was like a 9-minute video of the original script, but we had to cut a bunch of stuff out. He had so much good stuff about the Quaker Oats farm and about the Kaiser family, Kaiser Ford, because the mayor lived there in that house, and just a ton of little tidbits of how these developments on the land have come about, Morningside Heights and Alice Heights and all the, but we just couldn't fit it all in. So he did a great job.
Monona San Damiano History in the Making. Find it on YouTube.
That's right.
Will it be anywhere else?
Well, I'm gonna go for sure.
Okay, great. All right. Any other staff reports that you wanted to share, Will? I know the start of the school year is kind of a big, busy time with the students at the high school. I don't know if
We're doing good. We lost 2 really powerful, talented, young club members to college, but we have a lot of students that were at the club meeting tonight when I left, and that have signed up. And so, you know, I think there's like 35 kids that have signed up to be in the club. So,
Wow.
which means we may have 7 of them by the end of the year, right? Which is, well, I mean, right. And that's just kind of like,
Yeah.
just kind of like marketing. You hope your target is, you know, whatever the percentage is of how many brochures you send out. So that's kind of what this is. You get 35 people to sign up, and by the end of the year, if you got 6 people that are still there ready to go next year, that's a win.
Yep.
So,
You know, and sometimes when you just have 6 really strong workhorses, that, you know, maybe that's all you need. So
it looks like there's good
Fantastic.
cohesion, and that's the key, like good cohesion and chemistry between everybody that maybe we were lacking a little bit last year, and why our numbers went down last year. And we just luckily had 2 very talented people. But this year, not as many talented people, but a lot of cohesion. Seems like a lot of chemistry. The personalities maybe mesh a little better.
That's great to hear. Before we ask for an motion to adjourn, is there anything more that anyone would like to add or comment? I will say that when Will presented the budget document in that section where it listed all the goals, that really makes me proud. And I was saying to Will that this is such a great committee. I'm so happy to be a part of it. And I'm going to pull those out, and maybe we can look at some of those as the months go by for our 2024 goals, just so we don't lose sight of those. If there's nothing else, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I have one thing
Oh.
quick.
Yes, please.
Teresa, the number of subscriptions, the My Monona newsletter, it was 979 in August. Then I owe some metrics. I promised that I would do them in September because we did them in September last year. They're not done, but I'll plan to do them before our next meeting.
When you say that the subscription were 979 in August, you mean we were up to that?
Yeah, that's what
No.
the send list was, the subscription list. At least I would assume that that's the active list, Will, right?
And so as of August, we're up to 979. Ooh. We should easily hit 1,000 on that, 500 on the app. These are really great things to celebrate.
It'd be fun to get to 1,000 before the new year.
Of course we can. Of course we can. Oh, I know what I was going to say more. Sorry, I'll rein it in. Something that I'd like to talk about at our next meeting in October. We just Will and I spent some time looking at the website, the City of Monona website, and going through every page that is related to community media. And there may be some volunteer opportunities there just to go through, clean it up, update it, and maybe, you know, add links or graphics, just if there is anyone among us that has an interest in, you know, writing and editing, that might be an opportunity for you on the website. Okay. Now, is there a motion to adjourn? Or we can just hang out forever.
I move to adjourn.
Anita's moved to adjourn. Anyone else? Is there a second?
I second.
Second from Dave.
Sorry, I was on mute.
Oh, was that Susan that seconded?
Actually, I did, but I was on mute,
Oh,
so I
got
think
it.
Dave
Got it.
actually got the
Okay.
second.
Okay, so Dave beat you to the punch. All in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned at 5:47, huh? How am I doing? Yeah, all right.
Thank you for a great meeting. It was
Yeah,
really good to
absolutely.
review all that material. That was really good.
It was nice. Have a lovely day. There's some beautiful sunlight out there. Get out and enjoy.